strong like mountain.
Bodyweight Nate fam, welcome to the second most important video you will watch throughout your entire lifetime. Okay, the prerequisite for this class is the Ujjayi breathing, the number one most important video of your life. So once you get your breath down, the next step is the mountain pose. We talked about how our breath of the inhalation is our awareness, our emotions, okay? So the exhale is our physical, our body, where we become grounded and strong in our mountain pose. Guys, in today's class, we have 15 cues to cover. But once you get these cues down, guys, it's going to transfer to every single movement you take once again in your entire life. First, we're going to cover mountain pose, and then we're going to cover its opposite, extended mountain, okay? So if you were to imagine the mountain pose as a tree trunk, bam, all these branches coming off your mountain pose tree. Each branch, let's say, is a skill, a movement, yoga pose, calisthenics move, hand balancing bounce. All these different body weight skills. The stronger your mountain tree trunk is, the stronger all your movement branches are going to be, okay? Visualization, like a meditation, not procrastination, but into elevation. Okay, guys, so that's why it's so important. It is the physical base of all movement patterns. So we're going to start on the ground, guys, and we're going to cover rotations. Okay, so we have 2 rotations of the shoulders and 2 of the hips. So placing the hands out like this, if I bring my fingertips toward each other, this is shoulder internal rotation. Neutral, internal, okay? The elbow pits come facing down towards the ground, okay? Shoulder external rotation, fingertips point towards the walls, okay? Neutral. External, the elbow pits face the sky. That's it, 2 rotations of the shoulders. What is cool though, I'll show you here, is that I can internally and externally rotate my shoulder without the hand moving. You see that? So even though they can work together, you can still isolate each joint in its movement pattern. If I find this part of the video on Foot Finder, there's going to be some issues. So it's the exact same motion, guys. So when my toes come in towards each other, this is hip internal rotation. Neutral, internal rotation, okay? The knees and toes come together. Neutral, external rotation, the toes point out. Internal, external. So the first 4 cues were just the rotations, guys, okay? 2 shoulder, 2 hips. So each mountain cue is related to a part of the spine, okay, guys? So we have 5 parts of the spine. We have the cervical, the thoracic, the lumbar, the sacrum, and the coccyx. The rooster, okay? The coccyx, also the tailbone. So for the mountain and the elevated mountain, there's going to be 5 cues that we use for muscular activation to lock the spine. And that awareness is how you build into body weight skills. The mountain pose, we're going to teach head to toes, okay? We're working down the spine into the ground, okay? Because that force is the ending point. So the first mountain cue, cue number 5, we're going to do the chin, okay? All it is in the mountain pose is the tucking of the chin, okay? So watch the Ujjayi video and then that's going to make sense. Just the inhale and the tucking of the chin. So tuck the chin is number 1. So going down, guys, into the thoracic, we have the most important cue of your life. Shoulder depression, okay? It's where I press my shoulders down towards the ground, okay? Not back, not forward, not a lat spread, but I'm simply pressing the shoulder down towards the ground to activate the lat. Shoulder depression. Shoulder depression. So why do I say depression is the most important cue in all of bodyweight training? Because the lat literally covers from T6 all the way down to S5. So when you lock your lat, you are protecting your entire spine. That's also why I work from head to toes, because once I engage my lats, bam, I am locked into the ground, okay? My spine is working as a unit. Moving down, we have the lumbar spine. Cue number 3 for the lumbar spine, we have core compression. Neutral compression. neutral, compression. I want you to imagine the core stitching the lower rib cage to the hip bones, okay? That stitch is my core compression. What is the muscle for core compression? We have iliacus, okay? Working down into the sacrum, we have posterior pelvic tilt, neutral, posterior, neutral, posterior. What glute activates the posterior pelvic tilt? The glutes, okay guys? You squeeze the glutes to bring the tailbone forward and up to connect into that core compression. Okay guys, moving down, we have pelvic floor engagement. So you're at the bathroom peeing, you're late for your flight, so you're pressing it hard. Someone taps your shoulder and you gotta turn around, okay? You're not gonna pee all over the person. You can, but you're trying to practice your pelvic floor engagement. So when you squeeze the muscle that stops your pee, that's engaging your pelvic floor, okay? The pelvic floor is a webbing connected to the coccyx to the bottom of the pelvis, okay? So it really seals the bottom of the spine. Stop the pee, pelvic floor engagement, relax. Stop the pee, relax. Quick little side note. What I want you to do is I want you to squeeze the glutes into a posterior pelvic tilt. Now lock in your posterior pelvic tilt, engage the pelvic floor by stopping the pee, okay? Working the sacrum and the coccyx, you can create a seal in your hips, okay, with those two cues. Really powerful. We're gonna connect it all together now. Shoulder depression, lat thoracic, core compression, iliacus, lumbar spine, posterior pelvic tilt, sacrum, glutes, pelvic floor engagement, pelvic floor muscles, coccyx. Okay, we'll do a couple different views. Tuck the chin, find your ujjayi. Exhale, depress, core compression, posterior pelvic tilt, stop your pee. Lock all four of those cues. Okay, keeping the jaw relaxed, lock the four remaining strength cues. That's it, guys. You can even exaggerate it if you want, but this is a mountain pose. Okay, to top it off, when you depress, you can externally rotate the shoulders, okay? Shoulder external rotation allows for deeper shoulder depression. This is a front view. Tuck the chin, ujjayi, shoulder external rotation, depression, core compression, posterior pelvic tilt, stop the pee. Catch your ujjayi and inhale. For 3, 2, 1, exhale. 3, 2, 1. Okay? So now we have another 5 cues in elevated mountain, which now we're gonna reverse these spine cues, okay? So cue number 1, instead of tucking the chin in ujjayi, you're gonna lift the chin in ujjayi, okay? Normal, lift. Normal, throw it back. Number 2, remember we're doing opposites here. So shoulder depression is pressing the shoulders down towards the ground. As the arms come above head, shoulder elevation is bringing the shoulders up towards the ears. Neutral, elevation. Neutral, elevation. Works the traps. So the traps are another huge muscle going from C1 to T12. For number 3 in the elevated mountain, we have core contraction, okay? So core contraction is the opposite of compression. Core contraction, I lengthen the core, but it's still active, okay? I'm not soft here, but when I engage it, I'm activating my psoas. The muscle is the psoas, core contraction, lumbar spine, covering L1 to L5. Core compression, iliacus, core contraction, psoas. Hence, iliopsoas. Okay, we had the posterior pelvic tilt here. So now, engage the glutes, curl the tailbone back and up for an anterior pelvic tilt. Neutral, anterior. Anterior tilt, glutes, sacrum. And then the pelvic floor remains the same. So now let's do the hip seal in the opposite way. Engage the glutes, anterior pelvic tilt, stop the pee, okay? Stopping the pee is most likely gonna engage some hamstring and quad as well. It's all pretty connected there. Are you ready for this? So let's do a full elevated mountain. So with depression, we externally rotated the arms, right? Now with elevation, we're gonna internally rotate the arms. Ujjayi, lift the chin. Arms come above head to shoulder, internal rotation, elevation, pressing them up towards the ears. Okay, engage the core and core contraction. Engage the glutes in an active anterior pelvic tilt. Okay, keep the gaze in between the middle fingers. Squeeze the pelvic floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, relax. Now we're gonna use our breath to incorporate elevated mountain and mountain. On our inhale, we're gonna come into elevated mountain. Exhale, regular mountain pose. Let's see how fast I can talk with the cues. 5 cues for elevated mountain pose, 5 cues for regular mountain pose. Okay, we'll do both angles, okay? I'm about to get started here. What's first always? Ujjayi, right? Lift the chin, inhale through the nose, arms come into shoulder internal rotation and elevation up towards the ears. Active core contraction, activate the glutes for an anterior pelvic tilt, pelvic floor. Exhale, keeping the jaw relaxed, tuck the chin, shoulders come into external rotation, depression, core compression, posterior pelvic tilt, pelvic floor. Inhale, lift the chin, shoulder internal rotation, elevation, core contractive, active anterior pelvic tilt, hold that pelvic floor. Exhale, tuck the chin, external rotation, depression, core compression, posterior pelvic tilt, pelvic floor. I'll show you a front view. Here we go. Inhale, lift the chin, shoulder internal rotation, elevation, core contractive, anterior pelvic tilt, pelvic floor. Exhale, shoulder external rotation, shoulder depression, core compression, posterior pelvic tilt, pelvic floor. See how all the cues stay active as the jaw stays relaxed and you breathe into elevated and regular. Okay, guys, so you can really practice keeping a steady breath while all 5 spine cues stay engaged throughout the movement, and you will feel how the spine locks and just moves as one. It's such a cool feeling. So with those 10 elevated mountain cues and regular mountain cues, that's going to transfer to all your skills, guys. It's going to transfer to walking, to stairs, to plank, to pull-ups, dips. The better you get at that, like I said, the stronger your trunk becomes, and that everything else is going to unfold. These are the last 2 cues. We had 4 of the internal and external rotations. We had 9 total cues between the elevated and regular mountain. Remember, the pelvic floor stayed the same. And now we have 14 and 15, 2 more in our thoracic spine. All right, guys, so this is the side view. Go ahead and place your wrists underneath your shoulders. So now, as I press my heart up towards the sky, my shoulder blades are going to spread apart, okay? This is called shoulder protraction. Neutral, protraction. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, heart towards the sky, spread the shoulder blades, protraction. Inhale, neutral. This is the top view. Heart towards sky, shoulder blades spread, neutral. Exhale, protraction. Inhale, neutral. Okay, so now we have the opposite. A cool cue for this one is imagining a pencil on your spine. You're going to squeeze the pencil with the shoulder blades, okay? Neutral, shoulder retraction. Neutral, okay? Squeezing the shoulder blades together. I inhale, squeeze into retraction. Exhale, press back to neutral. This is the top view for retraction. Inhale, squeeze the pencil. Exhale, neutral. Retraction, neutral. Guys, you are strong as a mountain now. You have it. You control the seas and the sky. You did it. I know that's a lot of information, guys. I hope that was useful. Any questions you have, specificity, don't be afraid to post in the comments. If you learned something, please subscribe. Make sure to give me a dislike so I stay motivated. The next video, guys, we're going to practice diaphragmic breathing. So we're going to connect our Ujjayi and mountain pose to create the oneness of inhale and exhale. I really do love sharing this information with you guys. Breathe into the hearts, exhale into the body. What more can you ask for? Love y'all. Peace. I told you don't give me that attitude.